So science has proven that something really bad happens to your brain when you watch short form content. And not only that, if you're just watching 5-second videos, you're training your brain to only focus for 5 seconds. And not only that, every time you're on social media and scrolling, you are comparing your life to everybody else's highlights. And that makes you feel bad because comparison is the thief of joy. And there is so much that doom scrolling is doing to your brain. And after watching this video, you will gain so much realization and so much awareness that you will be forced to never doom scroll again. Now, step 1 to doing that is going to be putting your phone away. Watching this video on full screen and also taking some notes to train your attention span, because chances are it's probably cooked. So the most important thing is take some notes, because information without implementation is just productive procrastination. Now let's start. Stage number 1. So in this video, I'm going to break down the 3 stages to never doom scroll again. Stage number 1 is escape. Now, doom scrolling, you might think it's laziness, but it's not actually laziness. It's just this automatic loop. It's this, every time you get a trigger to open your phone, it triggers a series of emotional connections in your brain, which leads you to take the action. And then you find yourself in this loop. For example, you feel bad, so you need to escape. So you scroll, so you feel even worse. So you need to escape even more. So you scroll even more. It's just this endless automatic loop and cycle. And I'm going to tell you exactly how you can break free. You see, when your brain reaches for your phone without thinking, the problem isn't actually discipline yet. The problem is awareness. You are missing that awareness. The awareness, the space between having that cue and trigger, between thinking about, oh, I need to go check my phone. I don't want to miss out. I feel like scrolling. When you get that thought at the beginning, you need to create space between thinking that thought and actually going and opening your phone. And this is where 99% of people go wrong. They basically have no awareness and no space between the thought and the action. Instantly, they get a thought that I want to scroll. I want to check something. I need to open my phone. And that thought within seconds becomes an action. But if you can create space and train your brain, which is the whole point of this video, train your brain to not react instantly to impulses, that is one of the biggest things you can do. Because with that awareness, number 1, you identify your triggers. So what triggers you to scroll? There are certain things in your life that literally trigger you to open your phone and doom scroll and check your phone. Now, put simply, what are those things that cause you to scroll? It could be boredom. It could be stress. It could be anxiety or worrying about something. Maybe waiting in line, maybe waiting to get your coffee, maybe waiting for this or that. It could be avoiding difficult work. Every time you have a very tough task, there's no clarity. You don't know what you have to do. So clarity goes down, procrastination goes up, and you're just confused. So you need to escape. And the last one is emotional discomfort. If you're not in tune with your emotions and the way you feel every day, and you don't have this level of awareness, then it's going to be easy for simple things that happen in your life that make you feel a certain way that dictate what you do. So I'll give you some personal examples that might relate to you. For me, when I was physically tired, that was my trigger. For example, after I would go to the gym, I would push hard in the gym, finish my workout, and then I would come back home and I'm just like physically tired. I just lay on my bed and just scroll. It was just the easiest thing to do, the easy input. Or sometimes I would be mentally drained after, for example, hopping on a very long call. After that, what happens is I'm just mentally drained and I'm like, I can't do anything else. My dopamine is fried and I just want the easy inputs. I just want to open my phone and scroll. So those were the 2 big things. Number 1, when I was physically drained, I would search my phone, find my phone, and then just scroll. Or also number 2, when I was mentally drained, physically drained or mentally drained. So now the actual strategies that you can plug and play into your life, I'm going to give you right now. So number 1, the Atomic Habits Classic. It goes like this. You want to increase friction. The reason why you spend so much time on your phone, you check your phone often, and you doom scroll, and it just feels like this habit that you can't shake away, is simple. It is because you are attached to your phone. And now what happens is the more physical distance you put between you and your phone, let's say you go for a walk without your phone. Let's say you complete a 5-hour deep work session without your phone. Let's say you go outside with friends and you don't even check your phone one single time. You see, all of these things just lead back to the same thing. You are severing the connection between you and your phone, this emotional attachment. And once that's severed, once that's weaker, you're no longer mentally addicted or attached to your phone. It's going to be easier to stay outside without your phone, to do all these things without doom scrolling. And that shows growth. Your brain is, number 1, it is a pattern recognition machine. Your brain identifies patterns and it literally changes your behavior based on what it's already seen, what it's experienced. But at the same time, your brain can also relearn patterns. Your brain, there's something called neuroplasticity. So if you have this habit of scrolling and it's just ingrained into your mind, your brain, so that like you find yourself always scrolling, that can also be relearned. You can relearn behaviors so that the triggers like boredom, stress, waiting, tough task, all those things, they don't lead to scrolling. That is the biggest thing, because you are going to have these triggers happen. You're going to have a bad day. You are going to have some emotional thing that happens to you. You're going to have like a tough task that you can't complete, that you don't know what to do. You're going to have an overwhelming thing in front of you, a speaking event that you're nervous about. You're going to have triggers come so often in your life. And that's why you need to rewire your mind. So increase friction. Remove apps from the home screen. Disable all notifications. You don't need any notifications. I don't have notifications for Instagram. I don't have notifications for YouTube. Turn your phone on grayscale. Basically, a lot of the dopamine in your phone is just the pursuit of excitement. And a lot of that comes from colors. When your eye sees colors, it's a lot more stimulating than when your eye sees just black and white. You can actually set your phone and make it grayscale, make it black and white. You can also leave your phone in another room. You can't have your phone next to you when you're trying to work. Right now, it is about 10 a.m. and I'm filming this video, and I woke up at 8 a.m. and I still haven't touched my phone. I haven't even checked my phone. My phone's still on airplane mode, and it's not even on my desk. It's somewhere over there. I don't even know where it is. Because as soon as you open your phone, as soon as you check one notification, as soon as you like go on one app, answer one message, it's like instantly you're setting yourself up to be distracted. And you know, God can't build a man who's easily distracted. That's a big thing I've learned. If you want to achieve great success, you need to be focused. You cannot be distracted. Being distracted is one of the biggest things that are going to hold you back from making more money, achieving your potential, getting a better physique, being more disciplined, and having more self-control and everything. So aside from leaving your phone in another room, which creates physical distance and more friction. So if I apply all these things, right? If my phone is in another room and I have a screen time blocker and it's grayscale and I don't have notifications and it's airplane mode, if I go over and I'm sitting on my desk and I want to do deep work and I get the thought to scroll, there's so much friction between me and scrolling. You know, I have to go, leave my desk, walk to the other room, pick up my phone, disable airplane mode. And then number one, there's no colors, which is kind of boring. And also there's a screen time blocker. So I have to wait 30 seconds to get into the app. You see, when you stack friction between you and your phone, you will never doom scroll again. And if you never doom scroll again, your life improves tenfold. Number two, your attention span is like a muscle. You need to train to sit with boredom instead of escaping it, right? When you train this response of, you know, every time you're bored, you just have to do something, it turns into this addiction, this habit. So just sit with boredom every time you're waiting, every time you're not doing something, just like be okay with that. Really be okay with that. It's not the end of the world. It's not gonna, it's just like people think boredom is dangerous, but boredom is actually, it's so safe. Being bored is nothing bad is gonna happen to you if you don't stimulate yourself and open your phone and check something every 5 minutes. And to train your attention span, so what happens is when you're consuming all the short form content, you're training short attention span, 5, 6, maybe even 7 seconds of attention span. But when you're watching a long form video like this, it trains your long attention span. It makes it easier for you to focus. It makes it easier for you to actually focus and get work done and have long attention span. So you want to train your attention span by removing short form content, doing deep work for multiple hours a day, and also watching long form videos just like these. Subscribe to the channel. And that takes me to this point. Fully commit to one video at a time, one thing at a time. Do not multitask. The reason why short form content affects your brain so much, because it's like rapid multitasking. Think about it. You're watching a video about a cat, right? A cat video, just a cute cat. And like the context here is cat, right? You're in this context. Your mind is like connecting to these dots and everything. And now you swipe up 5 seconds later. And now you're watching a video about food, a food review, you know, and now like it's a completely different context. And your brain is like, it went from connecting these dots or like cats, whatever. And now it's all of a sudden, it's thinking about something else entirely. You disrupted your flow of focus and connecting the dots. And now you're on something different entirely. And this doesn't just happen twice. You're doing it again and again and again. In the span of 60 seconds, you could do this like 15 to 30 times, switching context so rapidly. And the last thing before we go on to stage number 2 is that you need small moments of doing nothing to rebuild focus. Basically, what happens when you spend all this time on your phone, your dopamine baseline starts to go down, which means that everything else becomes harder to do. So you need to reset your dopamine baseline by essentially staring at a wall. Set a timer, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and just stare at a wall and do nothing. Lay on your bed, look at the ceiling and do nothing. Just like be with your thoughts, go on a walk and just chill. And now this level, right? This level of destimulation is going to help you rebuild your focus. Also make it harder to scroll again because you're detaching, you're pushing yourself away from the mental space of scrolling. And this is often something that is very overlooked. This is the best productivity trick of all time. Stare at a wall for 15 minutes and then do 2 hours, 3 hours of deep work. So comment down below what your screen time is, how long you doom scroll for today. And I know a lot of you are going to have high screen times, but that's okay. Don't be shy. Don't be afraid to like show your screen time or whatever. Just show it. And that's going to create awareness of like, oh, my screen time is really high. Damn, I need to change. Now that we covered the first part of the guide, the first step, let's go on to step number 2. Stage 2. replace. So the goal here is to fill the void that scrolling leaves behind. The reason why you scroll is because there's this void, there's something missing. And now the thing is, the only reason you escape is because you don't yet have the life that you don't need to escape from. Now I used to scroll the most when my life was not the way I wanted it to be. I wasn't making the money I wanted to be making. I didn't yet have the business that I was working on. I didn't have a purpose in life. Even my physique, I didn't level it up. I was lazy. I didn't hit the gym consistently. I was lonely, and all these things just stack up. And like, I was living a life years ago that I needed to escape from that life. And that's a key thing. Today, I'm living a life that is amazing. I don't need to escape from this life. I'm living literally like my dream life. So find that void that is inside of you that scrolling replaces, and just replace it with something else. You see, you can't remove a habit without replacing it. If you just stop scrolling and you decide to stop scrolling, you will have 4 extra hours in the day. And you know, surprise, surprise, if you just have that time without any plan, it's just gonna refill itself with scrolling. Or you might do another bad habit. So replace scrolling with a good habit, with something else. And like, humans hate emptiness. You gotta understand that. Like, this feeling of being empty, this feeling of just having this void, doing nothing, to the average mind today, it just feels wrong. It feels scary. It feels like this gray zone. But the truth is, you need to feel that emptiness and be okay with it. Fill that void from within. You know, this external validation that we seek from social media, from doom scrolling, from watching videos, it's just like, yes, some long form videos on YouTube are going to change your life, exactly like this one, subscribe. But most content, like the bad content, you could say, like, that's just gonna ruin your life. That's just gonna make it harder for you to get to your goals. So instead, remove external validation and just seek internal validation. You can validate yourself from within. So now, one of the most underrated principles and mindset shifts that I'm gonna tell you is literally gonna change your life. So consume less and create more. My screen time used to be so high. When I started posting content and I started creating more and more videos and doing more and more things, guess what? My screen time went down by 80%. Now, that's not a magic trick. That's not luck. There's literal brain science. Now look, at that time, I didn't even want to reduce my screen time. It just happened automatically. In fact, before that, I tried so many things, but one of the greatest things was just shifting from consuming to creating. Now, you don't have to make videos on YouTube, but you can make music. You can write a book. You can write something. You can write a journal. You can cook something. Cooking is a form of creating. You can do jujitsu. Jujitsu, you're creating these new moves. You're creating your technique, your style. The same way with all the martial arts like Muay Thai, boxing, all that stuff. Other forms of creating could be having a conversation. You know, when you're talking to somebody, you are creating words, ideas that come from your mind. So I'm not going to talk about too much creating in this video, but just the point is, consume less, create more. So instead of watching a video, write. Instead of scrolling, take a camera, take your phone and film a video. Instead of just browsing, build a business, build success, build your physique, build. Discipline looks boring until you see what it builds. Instead of watching sports, play sports. This is very simple, but you're switching from a state of passive consumption and you're going to a state of production, of creating, and you're being the producer. Now, I still consume content, right? But I've changed the content that I consume. I've went from short form to long form. And I've went from random long form videos to long form videos that will actually change my life. And because I've filled all my time up with tasks, like I'm so busy. I have so much to do throughout every single day. And like, I don't really have that much time to scroll, and it should be the same for you. If you really want to stop doom scrolling, one of the things is like, why do you have so much time? Why do you have enough time in your day to just lay on your bed and doom scroll? It sounds like a simple thing, but really, like, you have way too much time. You know, you have 4 hours that you can just do nothing. Not the good do nothing, which is staring at a wall, but the bad do nothing, which is just laying on your bed and scrolling. So this is a very simple but really, really important mindset shift. I used to be a consumer until I became a creator, and then I just consumed way less. So 2 more things before we go on to stage number 3, which is the most important stage by far. So number 1, make doing the right things simple. This is also reducing friction. For example, if you want to read, have a book on your desk or have a book on your nightstand. If you want to journal, keep your journal in front of you on your desk. Every time you wake up, just go and sit at your desk and you have your journal in front of you, you have the pen there. If you want to go to the gym, prepare your gym clothes and everything you need in advance. If you want to play guitar, then just, to be honest, just remove the cover and have it there so that you don't even have to remove the cover and take it out to play guitar. I promise that you will play guitar more consistently if it was just open and you didn't have to like open it and remove it from the case, because that's just extra friction. And the mind hates extra friction. Remember that. And like, you ever notice how brushing your teeth is the most easiest thing you do? It's the easiest thing. You do it every single day consistently. You don't need a habit tracker to brush your teeth. And that's because just think about how ingrained that habit is in your mind. And also, your toothbrush and toothpaste are so readily available. They're just there. They're waiting for you. You don't have to unbox your toothpaste or toothbrush, which is going to add friction, which is probably going to ruin the momentum So with habits, especially doom scrolling, you're gonna need to make doom scrolling harder to do and all the good habits really simple to do. Make the right things simple to do. Make things simple, make things simple, make things simple. Every time I'm thinking, overthinking, I just come back to the same point. How can this be as simple as possible? And number 2 is environment engineering, to engineer your environment to work for you instead of against you. So the last points were more about, your physical environment and your mental environment. If every time you're with your friends and there's just boredom, there's silence, they open their phone, then you are going to open your phone as well. If your friends are always doom scrolling, you're probably going to doom scroll. If they're always sending you reels on Instagram, then you're probably going to open the reels and watch them. Social environment is something you 100% choose, and it's also going to shape you. So if you have 5 friends in your circle and they're all millionaires, right? They're all hard workers, they have crazy discipline, and they're really, really determined to succeed, then like just by spending time with them, you're going to start seeing what they do and start doing more of that. But if your circle is basically losers, then it's going to be hard to not do those things, to not scroll, to not do exactly what they do, which is going to hold you back from your goals. So I've checked my YouTube analytics, and usually about this time, 20% or less of the initial viewers are still watching. So if that's you, if you're part of the maybe 15 to 10%, then I want you to comment below, I am the 10%. And also like this video. And now let's go to stage number 3, upgrade. So I'm going to tell you about identity shifting, psycho-cybernetics. I talk about this all the time because self-image is everything. It governs your actions. It governs what you do, what you think, and how you feel. So you need to build an identity and not just good habits. So you need to change the label, change the script, and change the way you see yourself. I am somebody who protects my attention. I am not a scrolling consumer. I don't doom scroll. You need to start writing down in your journal, I am the type of person who is productive, who reads, who doesn't scroll, who doesn't spend time on their phone. I am the type of person who, and then you fill in the gaps. Very powerful identity narrative thing you could do to change the identity, because if you're just trying to stop doom scrolling, but you still see yourself as a doom scroller, then it's going to be hard. You might be able to stop doom scrolling for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, but eventually it always comes back. You will always return to your baseline identity. Remember that. Now, the thing here is the only way to create real sustainable change is to change the underlying self-image, the identity, the narrative. Identity beats motivation. The moment you change your identity, you change the habit itself. So number 2, design your days so there's no room for scrolling. Have a morning routine, plan your work, get to work, know what you're doing after dinner, plan everything out, do a lot of deep work, read, journal, meditate, do the habits, spend time with friends, go to the gym, and just fill out your day with productive things. Most scrolling happens when your schedule is empty, when you are just bored. Now, you don't rise to your intentions, you fall to your calendar. Number 3, protect your attention like it's your most valuable asset. Attention is your life's currency. Time is more important than money. You've probably heard that. Time is money, if anything. Every minute you spend scrolling is 1 minute less that you could have spent building your business and building your income. Think about this. If it took you 10,000 hours to hit an income goal, to reach mastery in whatever field you are, and you spend 4 hours a day scrolling, those 4 hours could have been spent to make it a lot faster to reach that 10,000 or 1,000 hours of your benchmark, of what it's going to take to succeed. So every hour you put in scrolling it's proof that you don't really want it. Every wasted day is proof that you're not serious, that you're not committed. So the minutes matter. Time is everything. Time is of the essence. So if you're wasting hours, 4 hours a day, just scrolling, then you need to be thinking about, okay, that's 4 hours less of me potentially changing my life, building the business, building freedom. Now I'm going to leave you with this very, very deep wisdom. Your future is determined by what constantly gets your attention. For me, that used to be video games. I used to play any video game, all video games, Valorant, Fortnite, FIFA, CSGO, Clash Royale, Clash of Clans. I used to be the video gamer, and I realized I was spending so much time playing video games that I had no ambition for anything else. I would play video games all day. I would be at lunch and I literally want to finish lunch as fast as possible just so I could go and play my video game. And to be honest, unless it's an income or unless you're going pro, I'll be real with you, you shouldn't play video games. Maybe once in a while FIFA with friends, sure, it's not gonna hurt your business or anything. But playing consistently, playing video games more than 2 times a week, 1 time a week, and that's even a stretch, that is going to diminish your chances for success. So whatever gets your attention most often is where your life is headed. If you're always thinking about work and, making more money and scaling your business, that's probably going to happen. If you're always thinking about gym, what you're eating, your physique, how you're training, the different splits you could be doing, then chances are you're going to go to the gym more and get a better physique. Now, I gave you all of these steps for stages 1, 2, and 3. And now the part where most people relapse is just staying consistent over time. And this is exactly why you start something new, you start a new habit, and then just a couple weeks later, you just lose the habit and you go back to old ways. And this happens because there were no real systems behind it. You didn't have the right knowledge, you didn't have the right guidance, and you were doing it alone. So if you're interested in these systems and frameworks that create consistency and discipline so you can build a life you don't need to escape from, then click the link in the description below. That is our private community, Discipline OS, with over 200 members, which is going to change your life. Now remember, your level of success never exceeds your level of discipline. Take care, and you got this.